Hi.
I'm Ash,
And I'm Fatima.
and this is. Hold on, where's my button?
Oh my god.
Fatash. I'm
Fatash.
doing a thing. One of my hands. Okay, I just finished the thing.
Mike's going to go
Oh,
get tacos.
of course
And
he is.
poop. Because
Oh,
that's Mike.
okay. Well, we're back after 3
It's only,
weeks.
it was only 1 week.
Was it
It
only
was
1
only
week?
1 week. It was only 1 week.
It feels so long. I think because Blur Dot's not been on for I haven't been on Blur Dot for 3 weeks. So, I've just been out here trying to live a life. Yeah.
What are you going through over there? Turn it
Just
down.
I'm turning it down. Goddamn.
Okay.
Yeah, just trying to feel something.
Still?
Still.
Ah.
I know.
Well,
I have moments of levity at least. It's just nothing it's just all fleeting.
hmm.
I should probably get a therapist again. I just don't know what to say to my therapist. It's just talking at that point.
Well, they'll tell you. They'll ask you questions, and those prompts will get you to talk.
It's gonna come down to, am I doing my meditation? And I'm like, what is meditation really? But just centering yourself, which just ends up with me taking a nap. It's like it'll be quiet, or it gets as quiet as I can get with this apartment building, but I'll try to just kind of lay there and just focus on whatever thoughts I have, and then I end up falling asleep.
Why don't you just... Okay, so if you try to meditate and you end up falling asleep, don't you win either way? Yeah.
I don't know, cause I guess in a way, because when I wake up from the nap, I'm not as stressed. But then I remember what I was supposed to be meditating on, and then I'm stressed again because it's that didn't help. I went to sleep, and it was just a blank sleep, where nothing happens. It's just time stops kind of sleep. You don't have any dreams or visions. It's just darkness. Or is that just me?
I don't know, but a dreamless sleep does not sound too bad to me, but I have very vivid dreams and nightmares. So
my dreams are boring. Oh my god.
It's not always going to be something good.
My dreams are bullshit stuff, I was late for work or something. It's so whack. It is so whack. I might as well just be peering in on alternate universe mundane me, where it's oh, this is the timeline where I was late for work.
I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to nuke the polar ice caps? Do you want to be dropped into a pit of snakes in the Amazon?
It just speaks
what do you want?
It just speaks to the lack of imagination I seem to have lately, which is counterintuitive for my line of work. I need imagination. What the fuck? I'm getting all this notification. Did my aunt do a return? Anyway, but yeah, I wasn't here last week because I was celebrating my brother's birthday. He is 29. I'm bad at numbers and keeping up with people's ages, but yeah, he's a big kid. So we went to Universal Studios and then did the horror nights because he likes horror. I don't particularly care for horror, but I love my brother, so I endured.
Oh my god.
Man, it wasn't even that scary for real, but it was jump scares. And I was already tense. So I'm jumping at everything, and my brothers are behind me. That's another thing. I'm leading the pack. I'm the smallest out of all of y'all. Y'all got me in the front. But whatever. Hopefully they enjoyed me being jump scared and shit. But they weren't necessarily scared. And it was oh my god, like 45 minutes minimum waiting to get into these like haunted house walkthroughs. And the walkthroughs were like fucking 5 minutes to walk through. Ridiculous. And then like the scare resets, like the scares would reset, and you could walk by and miss the scare because the actors had to reset. So it was like I just spent 45 minutes standing in a line for nothing. It's not even that scary. But at least some of the roller coasters were open, so that was fun. That was fun. But yeah, none of my brothers got scared. I was so mad, man. Like, I wanted to see them get jump scared by the random, like, scare people in the streets. They would just be like, they did not flinch.
Wow.
It was so annoying. I'm like, every other actor in the street was like trying to get at me. They're like in my face. It was like some random like zombie hippie with a hammer in my face. I'm like, what the fuck? You gonna run up on the wrong person and get punched in your face. But yeah, it was fun. It was costly. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna look at my credit card later. I vaguely looked at it because there was a lot of pending costs. I'm like, I'm just let that come through before I pay it all off. But yeah.
Yeah, the vacation math is different, where it's just kind of like, no, it's a vacation. It doesn't count. All these calories also don't count. They're not supposed to count.
Man, have you been seeing that trend of people doing like girl math?
Yes.
Black math. It's
one of the ones that I thought was so funny was, I think they called it white math, where it's just kind of like put your mom in a home and rescue a dog. And I was like,
oh my god. Or like black math was like knowing one thing for sure, two things for certain.
Yep.
Oh my god. But like, yeah, some of the math is like, yeah, some of it I agree with. Some of the girl math, I'm like, no, this is not. I don't know. Like, my math has been fucked up. Like, people have jokingly called my math Ashley math. But yeah, girl math. The only girl math I saw that made sense was like not paying for anything full price.
Yeah, some of the more complicated girl math, the ones were like looking at stuff that was on sale.
Yeah.
And then trying to like justify it to yourself, like the sale money is now whatever you saved is now like your extra money. And so,
or like the return, like if you bought 30 but you returned it, so you gained $10. I'm like, what the fuck? No, that is no. Oh my god, no. They need to get into the sex math. I haven't seen anyone do that, but I've seen some like interesting calculations when it comes to like body counts and what counts as having had sex and this, that, and the third.
I'm so over the body count.
I know. I'm just saying that in itself is a math on its own.
Okay.
Because some of these numbers be wild. I'm like, what? How you got a 5,000 body count?
Cause you're an old hoe, like,
and I'm just be flabbergasted at the fact that you allowed that many different people to touch you.
Yeah,
I don't even talk to that many people, and you.
Yeah, but also
them.
You are an anomaly.
This shouldn't be an anomaly.
You're an outlier.
I can't believe that my way of thinking is an outlier. Oh, it's a lie. Sometimes I do question. I'm like, nobody. We gone this long and no one. But also,
like, you go outside and you're like, oh, everybody's ugly. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, ugly is a strong word, but like, I'm not attractive enough to get out my panties. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, and not to say that I go outside and I'm like ready to like fling them around, but like I do like see attractive people on a regular basis, just being out and about.
No, I went to an event the other day, and I was probably one of the youngest people there, honestly. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell when you're black, but I was there, and I'm like, I'm taller than, like, everyone here. Like, everybody here are grown. These are grown people. Like, no one younger than at least 28. And I'm in, like, maybe 2-inch heels, if that. And I'm like, I'm just looking over everybody's head. I'm like, I don't like being taller than people. It feels weird to me. I can't explain.
Why not? I've always wanted to be tall. Like, that's why.
It just feels weird to be taller than adults. I don't know.
But you're an adult. Like,
I often forget that I am. But yeah, it's jarring to be almost 32 and taller than people who are like 50. I don't. Plus, everyone in my family is taller than me, so I have a skewed perspective of tall. Like, I'm like, what, 5'5" and a half, and everybody else is like 5'6" or taller.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be tall. And
you look tall. I feel like you're tall.
I've got tall. Oh, okay, so I read this somewhere.
You give tall energy.
Yes, tall girl energy. But tall, like, you see a lot of smaller women and mid-sized women with tall girl energy, and the actual tall girls very often, like, they're trying to, like, shrink themselves because of the patriarchal society that we live in, and that very often people do not like to see women with confidence or anything, even height. And
I mean, I don't think I shrink myself.
I think tall girls are beautiful, and I've always wanted to be one, which is why I embrace the tall girl energy, and I'm always like putting on heels and making my hair bigger, and then I put it on top of my head. I put my heels on, apply all my hair on top of my head to make myself look like bigger, like taller, and then I go stand next to my dad and be like, haha.
Yeah, no, I don't try to shrink myself. I try to, like, I'm very conscious of, like, walking with my back straight and stuff like that all the time. I just don't wear heels often just because I have flat ass feet, so that shit hurts. So, you know, I'm like Barbie in the Barbie movie where she's like, if my feet were like this, I would not be wearing these heels. I'm like, I feel you, bitch, but I live in a patriarchal society and I gotta wear heels sometimes. But, yeah, I like tall, thick women, especially. Like, I like people who, and this is not just for women, just people in general, people who are as tall as they are thick. I just very sturdy. Something sturdy about it, you know. I'm the kind of looks like I can be pushed over by a strong wind.
I cannot, because although, like, I just really do not think that I'm as tall as I should be because I have such big feet. Like,
it's like I got all this platform for what?
Right, but I do believe, like, it's hard to knock me over. I might weeble and wobble, but I don't fall down. Also, I have these big hands. So I should have been taller, is what I think. Even though
big hands have to do with being taller, though.
Yeah, because big hands, big feet. Like, shouldn't you be like where's the rest of me? I believed I was gonna grow into it, and I didn't. Like, I got to be like 7th grade, and I think I told you this before. Like, I had scoliosis, and they were like looking at my back, and the doctor was like, looking at my back in an x-ray, and the doctor was like, oh yeah, you're only going to get half an inch more, and then that's it, you're not going to grow anymore. I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, he was like, see, you can see it, like, that's all you have to go. It's like, dang,
man. Yeah, I'm that weird spot of, like, taller than average but not tall enough to be a model, so it's like too tall to be considered like cute.
No,
not tall enough to be a model.
You're still very, very cute.
Short is cute though. Like fun signs, every guy you meet is gonna be taller than you type bullshit. Like a nigga could be 5 foot and it's gonna be like, oh my god, he's so tall. Meanwhile, when I went out on that date, I think I said that when I went out with that dude, talk about, oh, you call me big so and so. I was like, I'm not calling you big so and so. We're like the same height when I'm not wearing heels. That's not big to me, bro. That's not big to me. It's not. And it's like, I don't have anything else to compare you as being big. Like, I don't know if you got a junior or you are the junior. You're not big. You're you.
Dang.
I'm not even, yeah. It might have been you trying to be cute with you in the window about what you packing, but I have no reference to that. And even still, I don't know any other guys by your name to be like, yeah, he's the big version of the other version. No.
There was a guy we call Little Mike.
Cause you knew Mike?
No. This was before I met Mike, like 2 years before I met Mike.
He was just that small.
It was his distinguishing feature, I suppose, because there was not a corresponding Big Mike. There is just like,
that's how you know you small, when you grown man and people still call you Little Mike.
Yes, little and mad about it. Yes, he was.
Shit, I would be too. Well, no, as a woman I wouldn't be, but as a guy, oh, that's a lot to deal with in our society. I'm sorry. I'm sure he's a short king to somebody. Somebody likes it.
Nah, his personality was shit.
Because he had the Napoleon complex, which actually I found out Napoleon wasn't actually that short.
Yeah, I don't know why they spread the rumor he was short.
He was like 5'5" or something. Like, he was like my height, so an average height for a man. But interesting.
I'm so pleased with myself that I figured out how to add ebooks to my e-reader.
Did you already finish the books you had on it?
Okay, so the book that I'm reading, I am like 80% done. I'm not quite done. I've been reading it very slowly. But yes, Lady Susan continues to be a messy bitch.
Oh, does she like get with her brother-in-law? She feels like the type who would.
Okay, so I can't tell whether she has money or not, but the reason that she like all of a sudden wanted to like move in with the brother-in-law is because she couldn't stay in the place where she was anymore.
She's being evicted.
No, she couldn't stay in the place where she was anymore because she had an affair with a married man and she was ready to give him back to his wife.
Oh, well, not give him back. Wow. I'm done with this. You can have him. I ain't really want him anyway. I was just playing with him for a little bit.
It was like
a book to the library.
Him and also his nephew or something. Yeah, it was. She had that's why she needed to like go somewhere else for a bit, and she had to get rid of her kid. She had to go give her kid to the boarding school. But the boarding school, because the kid wouldn't marry who she wanted him to marry.
Right.
And then the kid got kicked out of the boarding school. So that was a whole issue that really pissed her off, because then the kid came to be where she was. And then the dude that was chasing after the kid, he came by unannounced, uninvited, and stayed for a while. Yeah, it's been interesting. It's my first time reading a Jane Austen book at all, but I'm enjoying it. And now I want to read the other ones, which is why I wanted to see, I have a whole bunch of books on here that won't open, and I can't tell if the files are corrupted or if they have some kind of DRM lock on them and I need to remove that first. But I found the Gutenberg Project, which is where you can get a whole bunch of all of the things that are in the, what do they call it? The open domain, free domain. What is it? What am I thinking of? Like the copyright is gone. What do they call that?
Ooh. I want to say it is open domain
Okay.
or
And
free
so,
domain, something like that.
yeah. So all of that stuff. So everything ever written by Jane Austen, Mark Twain, the Iliad, the Odyssey, like all the classics, they're there. It's public domain. That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
same
things
thing.
that
Open
are
public.
within the public domain, and you can download them onto EPUB files. And this thing reads EPUB files, and I wanted to see like, okay, will it still work, or is it gonna like mess it up if I connect it to the computer? Will it like do an update that is going to ruin it and make it like unusable? And no, I was able to download a new Mark Twain book with no problem.
You reading all the classics.
I have, well, like okay, so this Mark Twain book, I had seen the movie and I had listened to the book because I know we had a thing about like, what do they call audiobooks, that you were like, who listens to audiobooks? And that's me.
No, my issue was just how you can try to rent an audiobook from the library, but you can't because it's checked out. And it's like, how the fuck are all the copies of an audio file checked out? It's like an e-ink going out of stock when it's a code.
Because they limit it artificially so that there can be a market for it.
I fucking hate this country.
I mean, it's the same thing with the ebooks. Like, how are the ebooks?
Are you gonna sell out? Oh, okay, but yeah.
All out.
Anyway, but yeah, you were saying.
Oh, also, I found out, like, I guess for a while, Kindle made it impossible for you to read EPUB books on your Kindle. Because they want to sell you those books for like $1 or whatever. Also, Kindles have ads unless you pay to remove the ads. Can you imagine? You turn a page and it's an ad. And you can't turn the page again for like 10 seconds or whatever. I don't know how ads work on a Kindle. All I know is that you have to pay a premium if you want a model that has buttons on it, like this one already has buttons on it. And also the ones that don't have buttons are even slower. And you have to pay to remove the ads. Everything about the new e-reader sounds worse than the one that I have.
Man, it's
the
like
only thing, yes, that's Mike said, planned obsolescence. So if you're, what is that?
Obsolescence.
Yeah. Okay, so that is when companies put out products that they know are going to go bust in 5 years because they are going to make them go bust with their updates, so that you will have to buy another one.
So basically iPhones.
What iPhones is doing, but it's not just iPhones doing it. It's like everything is getting worse. It's like the lower quality.
It's most egregious with iPhone, where they're like, oh,
everything.
We're on USB-C. Like, yeah, so has been every other phone for the last like 3 years.
I was really, I don't know if anybody else remembers this or if I'm just aging myself here, but I was really upset when they took out the audio jack so that you could no longer charge your phone while listening to something.
Nope, you have to get like a dongle or something. Like every time the iPhone updated with something, and also you needed a new charger.
So now you can't charge. You can't like listen to something while charging.
Nope.
And now, like I think like the new iPhone, they give you nothing. Like they don't give you a charger. You have to like buy a charger.
Yeah, it's the same with Android. The Android, I don't even think it gave me a cord.
iPhones used to come with a charger.
It gave me a cord. It didn't give me a block. And it was the USB-C. And all of mine were like the USB-A types. So then I had to buy a block. And then the cords be like dying within 6 months. It's annoying. It's always at the joint too, like where you plug it in.
Yeah.
because it like slightly bends or whatever. Oh my god, it's fucking annoying.
Yes. Yes. So I am happy that I dug up my old tech, and I'm thinking about like buying another one as a gift.
Boo-hoo. For you?
No, for Trevor. Because like he's been having problems with his sleep, and I was like, maybe you should read a book before bed. And that way I could get it from eBay for 30 bucks, and I could load it with a bunch of EPUB books that I think he would like, and I could give him a little nightlight and say like, now this will help you to build out your go to bed routine, and then just go to bed and stop staring at your phone. Stare at this book instead.
I mean, Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah.
And,
And so was his birthday.
You know it. Y'all could do y'all could have like a sibling book club.
No, we are not going to want to read the same kinds of books.
No. I heard there's a silent book club in Chicago.
What's a silent book club?
Literally, you just go and you read your book in silence with other people. It's apparently, I forget what the name of the bar is, but it's like this like,
Oh, at a bar? That does sound fun.
it's like a lesbian bar somewhere in Chicago where folks would often just come in. It's like dim lighting, and they would just read their books at the bar or in some of the comfy chairs around.
Oh my god, I do like that.
And just chill. And so the bar decided to actually make it like a monthly event where they'll have like recommended books, and oftentimes there'll be like queer recommended books since it is a lesbian bar. And folks will just, they'll come in with their books, and you can read what you're reading by yourself, or if you're reading the same book as someone near you, y'all can talk about it together, or just in general, it's a good way of like, if you want to be social but also want to be left alone, but then if you see someone reading a book that you were interested in, then this is your chance to talk them up about it, or you see someone else reading the same thing as you.
It's a nerdy introverted heaven. Yes.
And it's not that it sells out, but like the registration for it gets booked like quickly. Like people be lined up outside just to read in silence at a bar, and I'm like, this is the most feminine thing I have seen. Like, I'm not even gonna put this on lesbians because I'm like, yo,
like I'm not a lesbian, but I want to go to that shit. Like that.
Like I feel like I've not had like intrusive relations with lesbians. Like,
no, me neither.
if I was like in a space that lesbians tend to hang out at or whatever, then I have no right to be offended if a woman like starts talking me up, because they might think I'm into that. I'm like, no, sorry, I'm not, and it's fine. It's like, oh, okay. Because usually the way they be talking me up will just be like how any woman would talk to another woman.
Well, yeah, and I've never felt any kind of like fear in turning down a lesbian.
Oh yeah, never.
But men, oh my god,
Jesus.
Well, straight men. I read something on Twitter that was terrifying, where a woman was saying that a guy was with his friends and he offered to buy her a drink, and she said no thank you, but then something about the look in his eye made her change her mind, like, oh, actually I think I will have that drink. And then she said that he sat down next to her and he talked to her like for the rest of the night about how he's so glad that she accepted the drink, because if she hadn't, he was thinking about whooping her ass. Oh. And I was like, what the fuck? Why would a woman saying no thank you to you buying her a drink make you want to get physically violent with her?
Right. I'm saving you money.
Mike's not like this, but Mike is a man. And maybe he talks to other men. Maybe he knows.
Mike, get your boys.
Get them all.
He's like, those ain't my boys.
If you try it,
Like,
is that a real thing where if a woman says no, thank you, you're mad?
Like, I can understand.
I know it's not. It's not to Mike. I know it's not to Mike.
Mike
isn't
has
like that.
No problem getting women or like being turned down by women and like not making that his villain origin story. Like, he just move on to the next one, bruh. But yeah, it's like you shoot your shot, and worst case scenario, she says no, and you don't have to spend $15 on a cocktail.
Right, because drinks are really expensive now.
Because then it's like, okay, you buy her a drink, she buys the drink, or she gets the drink, and then she goes sits down next to the man that she came in with, or she don't want to talk to you at all. Like, just because you bought me a drink is not an open invitation to now talk to me for the rest of the night. You know, it's like, are you worth talking to? Because me being here at the bar, I probably have at least enough to get me the one drink that has me at this bar anyway. Or I know the bartender. God damn.
Yeah, scary shit. Scary.
I'm so blessed to have not, knock on wood, praise be to Jesus, to never have had to deal with some of these really aggressive guys.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed. I don't know what kind of nin affinity I'm giving off that is just blocking off the bad juju from these dudes. But I praise the Lord that it's been smooth sailing so far, because some of these guys are just unhinged, and I don't know what it is that they see in some women that they feel like, yeah, I could target this one. Yeah, she gonna drink this drink, or I'm gonna bust her face in with a brick. Like, huh?
But I don't understand the thought process behind, like, accept this drink or else I'm gonna beat your ass. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? You don't even know if you like me.
Yeah.
You just, like, if nothing else, I guess you like me aesthetically to some point, but, like, I don't know. Sometimes that's all guys need. It's like, oh, I like their face, I want to stick my thing in their hole. Like, I'm like, that's really? You don't want nothing else. You just want a pretty face. Okay. I need more than that to get me going, but men are simple creatures.
Okay, I saw a movie this week because it is October and, like,
spooky time.
I know. I don't really know if I like scary movies though. Like,
I like scary video games.
I've always had scary movies in my life due to my mother, because she would take me to go see Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 5.
Yeah.
And
Mother of the Year right here.
And Gremlins and just whatever else she felt like going to see.
Though.
Well, even then, I remember like the people who were taking their tickets being like, "She's going to see Nightmare on Elm Street," and my mom being like, "Yeah, I'm her mother. It's fine." And I mean,
it is parental guidance. I am her mother.
And I was like, "No, it wasn't parental guidance. It was R." Like,
oh. Yeah, that's straight up no one under 18.
But she's with me, and I'm her mother, so it'll be fine.
Well, that's okay. And look at you now.
Yeah. Well, okay, so there was a time when the only time that I did not like watching scary movies, like the jump scare type, is when I was living in my condo, because like the soundproof on the walls just really made me feel alone, and I do not want to be alone with my thoughts like watching a scary movie. But once I moved to Chicago and I could hear my neighbors all the time, I was like, well, now I never feel alone, so yeah, just bring it on. It's fine now.
Yeah,
I can watch all that scary shit. But no, and Trevor does not like scary movies at all.
Scary movies are just annoying most of the time because people just make dumb decisions, and it's not so much scary as aggravating.
But I saw a really, really good one.
What was it?
I saw Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Oh, the A24 one.
Yes.
Okay. So was it scary or more of like a thriller?
More like a thriller.
Okay.
No,
I can do thrillers.
No jump scares, and I really loved it. I liked it all the way through, and there was a nice ending.
Okay. Yeah,
So I highly recommend it, and even Trevor liked it.
Yeah, I like when movies are thrillers. Like the scare comes from the tension, not from you trying to scare me with scary images and jump scares.
No, there was like lots of like there was like tension that made sense. There were characters that made sense. But it was good. I highly recommend it. You should see that.
Okay. Yeah, usually for Halloween, I just stick to kind of like the spooky movies, usually airing on the side of like fun. So like my top movies to watch in October are The Craft, The Covenant, because I have that as a dual pack, with The Craft and The Covenant as a dual pack DVD pack. Love those two movies. Nightmare Before Christmas and Adam Family Values. Because that's the one where they go to summer camp. Like that is like peak Wednesday for me. Like I love her in that movie.
Yeah.
And Uncle Fester's wife, I forget the actress's name, but that woman was unhinged when she kidnapped the whole family and had them in the electric chairs telling them why she needs to do this because her family got her a Malibu Barbie.
Wow.
Like literally out of nowhere, just randomly throughout the day, I might just go Malibu Barbie. They had to die. Like
okay, but have you ever seen Tales from the Hood?
Yes. Oh, I need to watch that again. I saw Tales from the Hood when I should not have. I was probably less than 10 years old. But some of the scenes from that still live in my head, like the dolls, the little dolls for the museum, the little niglet things. That one time that kids, I think it was the kid's like stepdad was abusing him, and he like drew him on a piece of paper, and he like crumpled him, and then at the end when the narrator was like, y'all are in hell or something, and they were like in a furnace. I can't even remember where they were. I just know that they were like burning at the end. That was a good black horror, man.
And I got to see it in the theater with a black audience, and what an experience.
I didn't know that was ever on the big screen. I remember it being on like
yeah, it was on the big screen.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was that more of like did they do like an anthology series of that, or was that the only one?
I think that was the only one. But oh man, I missed that theater so much. Because I'm like now thinking about it, and there were so many movies that we saw in that theater where like the crowd made the experience, such as we saw How Stella Got Her Groove Back in that theater, and something that came across to audiences in the 90s that like doesn't translate today is that okay, so How Stella Got Her Groove Back, Stella goes to Jamaica, right? And she meets this younger guy, and then like she tries to like bring him home, and when she brings him home, like her sister is like, oh, you can't date him, like it's too much of an age gap, blah 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 blah. But
was it really that much of an age gap though? Now I gotta look it up.
I think it was. But then, like, when you met the sister's husband was white, and I remember the crowd going like, "Oh, like, how are you talking about somebody having having some kind of like relationship that's not fitting the norm when you're married to a white man?"
I think that was the point, though.
And yeah, but I think audiences now, like interracial relationships are so common that audiences now would be like, Yeah, that's her husband, whatever. Like, it would
I
not have, like, stopped the theater and everybody be like, oh my God.
I don't know. I think it would have still hit the way it was supposed to, because it's like you're still gonna have, like, we're more progressive now, but there's still gonna be like issues that you have to deal with, if not in your relationship, then just by virtue of you living in an American society the way that it is. Like, it's going to be the outside forces more than anything. So the sister saying that could have just been her projecting in a way, where it's like, y'all aren't fitting the societal norms, it's not going to work. Hint, hint, look at what I'm going through. I love my man, but good Lord, the struggle.
No, she thought that her relationship was fine. Like, that was the thing. Like, she didn't see her own hypocrisy, like, at all.
Well, if they were to remake it, they'd have to have her recognize her hypocrisy.
Or they would have to pair her with somebody that was more outside of the norm than just like a white man, because it's so common now that we're just kind of like, girl,
what's out of the norm outside of a black
nobody
woman dating a white man? Oh, I was gonna say a black woman dating an Asian man, but people seem to have been pushing for that to be more of an accepted thing. So I don't think that'd be like, oh my gosh, a black woman and an Asian man.
I know. So, like, I don't think interracial would do it anymore now because it's so common. I think he'd have to be like non-binary or bi or pansexual or something.
Probably bi. Like, the men being bi but in hetero presenting relationships still gets a lot of slack.
Yeah, well, we saw it in Insecure, right? Where, like, she was like having.
He wasn't even bi. That was the wild part. He just admitted to, like, yeah, I can't remember if he said he sucked the dude.
That he had a.
No, yeah, a dude sucked his dick, and he was like, yeah, right. I wasn't into it, but it happened.
The fact that it ever happened, yeah, that
and it
was
wasn't even him that did the dick sucking. He got his dick sucked. And he admitted, like,
but that character was not feeling it. She was not feeling it. She was like, a lot of what? Yeah.
Like, okay, but Molly, you admitted to making out with a woman. Like, y'all exchanged fluids. I didn't even exchange fluids with this man. But I'm messed up. Alright, bitch, get out of my face. Get out my face with that.
Yeah, people did not like Molly. Molly received a lot of hate.
Molly needed help.
And she went and got it.
And she did. She did. She got a therapist. I think Molly's arc worked. Like, I liked where her character ended up overall in terms of her character arc.
I don't know. The guy that she ended up with, I was just kind of like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I don't really care who she. I already saw she was gonna end up with him when they introduced him in, like, I don't know, season 2 or 3. Like, I knew that was somehow going to become Endgame. It was just the journey she personally needed to make with herself to get there.
I think
what I'm okay with.
The relationship I wanted to work, but Molly blew it, was the one with her with that Asian man.
Yeah. I would have liked,
because he seemed nice and stable.
He was but
and the person, like, completely just wrecking that relationship all by herself was her.
Yeah, and that's probably what I liked most about her development, was her losing that relationship and it being unequivocally her fault, and her realizing it was her fault. That's what I really liked from that relationship, and the fact that they did not get back together. Like, because sometimes some relationships are just meant to be like a learning experience for you, and you're not necessarily supposed to come back together after getting your shit worked out. That's why I didn't like Issa and Lawrence getting back together.
Oh, that! My God!
I didn't want that.
Yeah, I was happy to see. Insecure on Netflix for audiences who have never seen it.
Yeah.
But it is not one of the ones that I want to rewatch because I know how it ends, and the ending was just
like it makes sense.
Like
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
Not mad at it. It's just I would have liked that they went their separate ways. They took their experience and just learned from it and did better with their new partners. And they were still like on good terms, but as friends, and we're able to look back on the relationship as like, I'm glad we experienced what we did together because we came out of it better people for the people we are with now. And then for her to even have like had her own kid with somebody else, and now her kid and his kid are like friends. Maybe they will become lovers later on. But yeah, that whole coming back together at the end, I'm like, no, I didn't want that for them, but it's so common. So common. Anyway, all that to say,
let's not remind anybody else of the ending of Insecure, because
it's not a bad ending.
I hated it.
It was
just bad
not
to
what
me.
I would have wanted for those characters. Oh, and then too, what they did with the her big friend. I forget the.
Yeah, what did they do with her? I don't even remember.
She ended up with a dude and had a kid with him. It was like it came out of nowhere, honestly.
After saying that she wanted to be child free all this time.
Exactly, like she went from not wanting to have any kids and being child free to like in a flash forward, she ended up meeting a guy that made her actually consider wanting to have kids, and was pregnant by him within like a couple months of meeting him or something.
Boo hiss on the ending of Insecure. So it's like, what was the message? Like, go through all this shit and then just settle for any damn body. Anybody. No, your ex.
They weren't settling.
Just some dude that you work with. They
weren't settling. I would say that it was a matter of growing up. Like, everyone eventually grew up. And they weren't as... Huh?
I said, and settled. I hated it.
I would have to go back and rewatch to see if I consider it settling, but my initial takeaway was that everyone grew up.
My interpretation was that everyone gave up.
Oh god, okay, everyone gave up. I would like a series in which the main person remains single.
Okay, so like I told you I was watching Manifest with Dad. We got to the ending. There is a character that is child free by choice. Okay. And she always liked being the aunt. And by the end of the series, she is still child free by choice.
All right.
And she chose the person that she wanted, and she let the other one go. Let him know on no uncertain terms, like, don't come back. It ain't gonna work between me and you, and I'm choosing this dude. And there's somebody out there for you. You go find him, because I'm not it.
Okay, I appreciate that. There's I didn't watch the last season of Sex Education. I'm actually watching a review of it in another tab that I'll get to after our show. Okay. But one of the couples, they got together at the end of the last season, but as of the end of this season, they break up. And me and the reviewer are like, yes, I like this outcome for this couple. Other people are like, you have your shippers that watch shows. They're like, I want them to be endgame.
My mother is a big shipper. She is forever like, so-and-so. Are they going to kiss? Are they going to do anything? Are they going to get together? Like,
Listen.
Where's the romance?
Listen. I am one of the most egregious shippers out there. I just tend to keep it to myself and amongst friends who understand where I'm coming from. Because I can watch an interaction between two characters for like 3 seconds and I'll be like, I ship it. I ship it. It could be antagonistic too. I'm like, yeah, I ship it. Yeah, I like that tension. But with this particular couple, I wasn't feeling it. Like, it was one-sided for a little bit, and the other person always had like some boyfriend, and then the other dude, he would end up with a girlfriend. So like they were never both single at the same time in a time that made sense for them to even get together. And then they finally get together, and I'm like, I don't know. I like them better with their other respective partners. And as of this last season, the chick had an opportunity to go to the States, because this is taking place in like London or whatever. She had an opportunity to go to the States, but she just got in a relationship with the dude that was like, will they, won't they, for the last 3 seasons. And thank God she took the opportunity to go to the States.
Right.
And they tried to do like a long distance relationship. And by the conclusion, they're like, nah, this ain't gonna work, and I'm gonna stay in the States. And I'm like, thank God. Because this whole trying to force a relationship just because they're a fan favorite is disgusting. I hate it. Yeah. Don't do that. I hate when you can just see when they're trying to force a couple to happen and they have no chemistry. And I'm like, stop it. Don't do that. They're trying to do that in the latest season of Castlevania. Did you ever watch Castlevania?
I couldn't. I tried.
Too bloody for you?
No, I just wasn't into like the animation. Something about the animation style. I was like,
oh, I love the animation style. It's so good to me. Either way, I say that to say the latest season does not build up the dynamics of 2 of the love interests like the first series of Castlevania did. Which the first series of Castlevania has no real romance in it outside of like Dracula's love for his wife, and even that was like not all overly sappy or anything like it, but you just knew he loved his wife, he loved his son, blah blah blah. And then 2 of the main leads, Sypha and Trevor, they're like partners in arms. Like they are battling. Like they don't have time for dates and lovey-dovey shit. They are fighting for their lives, you know. But you feel that kind of camaraderie that they build towards each other, and they're both attractive. So you're like, I can see them fucking. I'm with this. And it's like implied along the way that yeah, actually they have fucked at some point. I think there was like one scene where they were like woke up in bed together. You didn't see anything, but they like woke up in bed together. Like, I know it. Or like one time they go to a town and he finally gets a beer and he's like, oh my god, this is better than sex. She's like, oh, is it? He's like, it's not what it's. I just and she just walks off, kind of thing. So that was pretty much all you got in terms of like romance with them, but it made sense for their dynamic. And then we get into Castlevania Nocturne, and they got this dude kind of flirting with the black chick, and the black chick is like blushing. I'm like, Rich, why? Don't blush at this. That's a whole nother rant for a whole nother time. But anyway, I don't even know what my point was about that. About romance and shit.
Did you ever watch The Boys?
I refuse.
Okay.
I watched the anthology, the cartoon anthology, and I was like, it was rough just getting through that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I followed some reviewers who would like react to some of the episodes. So it's like I'm familiar with like the show as a whole, and some of it's more like outrageous moments and stuff like that. But The Boys just came around. The Boys came around at a time where I was like, I don't want to watch any more superhero stuff. let alone this type of superhero portrayal that's like more grounded in the more pessimistic side of like what it would be to have this kind of unfettered power, but also commercialized in a way. I'm like, I don't want to see this. I don't.
I'm here for it.
Are you
But
watching
that's
B?
yes, I am. And it's got a couple of my favorite actors from that Sabrina Netflix series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard
So,
this premise. I heard how they take a twist on some of the like teen drama.
well, it's kind of
add it
like
with
a twist on like the
superhero
X-Men Xavier Academy. Like, what do you
Yeah.
call it? Yeah.
But I mean,
It's kind of like a twist on that, yeah.
I mean, in terms of like some of the themes, so like one of the heroes has like an eating disorder, but it's because
Actually, it's not an eating disorder.
I
It's
know,
just
but,
like that's how
I know,
her
it's-
power works.
I know, but like in any other like teen drama, it would be an
Right.
eating disorder,
Right.
or like the chick who can control blood, she does self harm. But people
Right,
love her when she
right.
does self harm. Or
Right.
one character is like non-binary and literally trans, like can be male or female whenever they feel like it. It's like it's an interesting take on today's tropes of teen dramas without making that the point.
I also love, well, also like I also consider it to be a commentary on like athletes and how we use them for their bodies. Like they're all competing for like these like big time contracts or whatever, but it's costly to them the way that they have to train.
Yeah. And then it's like, God forbid you get a season ending injury that never really heals, and then your career is gone, and then it's like, what's your backup plan?
Yeah.
I swear there's somebody getting carted off the field every other game.
Yeah.
Never mind the concussions they might be getting.
Oh, yeah, and your brain looks like soup, and then years later.
I wonder if like rugby players have that same issue, because they don't have
They don't have protective gear.
They ain't got nothing on. They barely got anything keeping their pants up.
But they don't have protective gear, so like possibly maybe they don't go at each other as hard because like there's nothing between me and you. I'm gonna hurt myself going at you too hard.
Like, I don't even think they wear a cup.
So maybe you hedge a little bit. I don't know. But but I'm also watching like Everywhere Now, which is like a British show that just came on Netflix. And like it features a girl who just got out of like rehab for anorexia. She was gone for 7 months. And it's like the show's like really interesting so far, but also it's really sad.
So this is just like a slice of life of her dealing post anorexia.
Well, not even post. Like she's still very much within recovery because like all sorts of things can still trigger her. But like she's trying to like she feels like she missed so much in that 7 months, and I think it's like the like also like junior senior year of high school, so like
7 months and you missed.
Yeah, so
7 months in your junior senior year.
So like some of her friends who are virgins when she left, they're not virgins anymore. There's shit going on between her parents, like, and like I think we're on like episode 3 or 4 or whatever. But what's slowly being revealed is that like everybody is lying to her about something because they feel like
they don't want to trigger her.
They don't want to trigger her, and she's too fragile to like just handle the truth. And to their point, when she does like discover things, she acts in like the worst way possible. Like she takes it she takes it to the max. She doesn't wait for clarification. She doesn't get clarification. Yeah, she does a lot.
Yeah, as I see, this is exactly why we ain't say nothing. It's like you hold on
Right,
to
but
it. It's like,
then she's a person where it's like, I can't believe you weren't honest with me. Honesty, honesty, honesty. Like,
you see what happened when I was honest with you.
But you weren't honest with me, and that's why I'm mad now.
I wasn't honest.
Like, yeah.
I omitted the truth until I needed to.
Yeah. But
I don't see that as exactly lying. Depending on what the circumstances are, I don't need to give you all the details of certain things until it's like necessary.
I think you should see it for yourself, because they were telling some pretty big whoppers.
It sounds like
some pretty
so
big
get on my nerves.
and important. Yeah.
I'd be cussing these folks out. But again, to your point, this sounds like a difficult person to try to like reveal that to if you care about her feelings.
Yes,
I might be the type of bitch. I'd be the type of bitch that's just gonna say it because it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you always act like this, so I'm already prepared for you to be on 10 anyway when I tell you this. Because whether I tell you this now or I tell you this later, it's going to be the same. But if I tell you now, it might be a little more mitigated as opposed to like, you didn't tell me 5 months ago. Now there's time added to it and all that bullshit. So now you feel even more betrayed just because of time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go back to therapy or wherever you were for 7 months. Go back because
she doesn't want to go. She does not want to go, and I don't blame her because, like she was there involuntarily. She wanted to leave. She could not leave.
Yeah, that's hard. Like, how do you do?
And then she saw what happened with other people when they left too soon. Like they come close to death. You got to call the ambulance. They got to go to the hospital for emergency services, and then they got to come back anyway.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah,
that is hard, having to love and deal with someone, for lack of a better word, difficult. I don't know.
Well, who's struggling? Who's struggling with mental illness? Yeah,
and then you trying to help, or at least not exacerbate their situation.
Well, you trying to keep them alive. I mean,
I know.
Anorexia is like deadly. It's
yeah, like I said, just because the anorexia is just when you're not eating, right? Bulimia is when you're like throwing up what you're eating.
Yeah, but anorexia also has like ties to like OCD. So just like wanting that control.
Yeah.
And there's just so much in life, especially when you're dealing with other people, that you can't control and you shouldn't be controlling anyway.
Yeah. But again, it's one of those
which
things
ties into her like flipping out and in a very ugly way. Like she gets mean when she's upset. Like she will think of like the worst thing to say to you in that moment.
Because you don't have control.
And then say that in front of everybody.
Yeah, so she's flipping out at, from what I'm gathering, just the fact that she didn't know about a thing. Mm-hmm. She didn't have control over that information. Mm-hmm. But bitch, you were gone for 7 months, so you're gonna be out of the loop for a lot of things.
Because she was sick.
Because you were sick, so you're just gonna have to deal with that. Life moves on.
Yeah.
But we're trying to integrate you back into it. But if you keep acting like this, we're not going to include you no more. So get your shit together. Like, we're trying. By virtue of us being here and having this conversation with you, we are trying to integrate you back into our lives and what you missed. But even before then, this was a habit of yours that people did not like. And if people had like peace in those 7 months that you were gone, they'll be hard pressed to want to bring you back into the fold. Yeah. Like, you know what? I think this relationship has run its course. I don't miss you. I mean, you ain't gotta say that to her face, but like that would be that would be the conclusion of like, I don't need this drama. That's sad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, so I have so like now that I've got this new book on my Kobo, and I know that I can get more books on my Kobo. I'm like, okay. After Lady Jane, what do I do? What do I do? I
Aren't you
had
supposed to be
planned to go.
reading?
I had planned to go back to Toni Morrison,
Yeah.
but how can I resist the call of Pudd'nhead Wilson?
I mean, like I said, I think you should just go back and forth. Like,
Yeah,
if not completing an entire book, when you flip back and forth between books, then like a couple chapters of one book, a couple chapters of another book.
yeah. I doubt they'll mix them up because they're so different and they're taking place in different time periods.
But it is spooky season, so
It is. It is. So maybe back to Toni Morrison
I
because
think
she's
it's time for
spooky.
Toni. Yes, I think.
And
And then
Jane
by the
Austen
time,
was the perfect palate cleanser. She's light, she's funny, she's messy, but also I read that like Jane Austen was one of Toni Morrison's influences, and I was like, oh, that makes
oh,
sense. That is
look at
why.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think go back to Toni Morrison. We got like what 2 weeks left in October.
Oh yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
probably finish it in like what I want to say in 2 weeks, just because you have
I
to
don't
take a
know.
break from her sometimes.
I'm going. I don't know. I think when I read books at night, like I'm going pretty slow because like I just read until like I feel like my eyes are getting heavy, and then I just like roll over. Like, yeah, it's time to go sleep. Plus, Toni Morrison, gotta read her slow because like every 30 minutes of reading, she gonna do or say something that's gonna just fuck you up and be like, that's enough of
You
everything
just gotta
for today.
you just gotta put that book down for a minute and just reflect on that passage you just read. Like,
Yeah. It's like, oh, didn't see that coming. You just gonna set your son on fire. All right.
oops,
Well, that's enough for me.
I still got a stack of books. I brought all these books with me to Florida, thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna sit by the pool and I'm gonna read all my books. I read like maybe 2 chapters of one book.
Oh, that's another thing. This Kobo is very durable. I have taken this thing to the beach. I have stepped on it. It's still
They
going.
don't make tech like they used to anymore.
They on purpose because they like when I got like deep into like the forums trying to figure out like my next e-reader, people were talking about like, yeah, they bought like their first one and it lasted a decade, and then they bought their next one and it lasted 2 years. And then it's like
Like this is a scam.
it's a scam. It's a scam. Yeah. And also certain stores trying to block you from getting free books on your reader. Like that was the whole point of me buying a reader in the first place, so I could get all the free books.
How can I make more money?
Right. How can I definitely make more money off of shit that's free?
Shit. How about you raise my wages? I'm telling you, if I had more money to spend, I would spend it. That's all I'm saying. Give me more money and I'll spend it. But when I don't have a lot of money to spend, I'm going to be a little more cautious with my coins.
Yeah, I'm going to dig up old tech.
Right. You start going analog.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. People talking about I'm about to go off the grid. My brother over here talking about he want to go foraging and fishing and shit. I'm like,
do you know how to do that without dying? Like, do you know?
Doesn't, but he's like trying to learn how to do it. Like the resort we were on allowed you to go fishing, but they didn't allow you to actually cook what you caught. You had to like catch and release. And he was like, nah, I want to cook.
I am so not good at catch and release. I remember I was at camp and they told us to like fish, and so I like fished. I caught a big fish, and then they were like, now release it, and I was like, but he's dead. Because like the way that it chomped down on the bait, like it was dead. And they're like, no, release it. So I released it and it went floop.
Just floated to the top.
Yes.
Well, on top of that, if you have it
out
of the water for too long, it can't breathe and it dies.
Right.
Talking about some catch and release. I guess it's just easy pickings for the crocodiles or whatever's in the water.
Yeah. It's like, great. Now there's a dead fish just floating around. I released its soul from his body.
That's not the release they were talking about.
God. Well, they should have clarified.
Wow.
All right. So, looking forward to anything for next week?
My company is having its annual company party. Yeah. So, my family is supposed to be coming up for that.
Yay.
So, more opportunities to be amongst my family. I'm trying to embrace those moments as often as I can. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have a whole lot that I look forward to during the weeks. Outside of like what I'm watching anime wise. The fall season of anime has started, so I do have like my short list. But I can't really say there's too many shows. I'm like, oh my god, it's Wednesday, can't wait. It's like, we'll see.
When are we getting another season of Chainsaw Man?
Ooh, Chainsaw Man? Probably, I would say the earliest maybe fall 2024.
Damn.
I mean, Mappa's got their hands full because they still got Attack on Titan that's coming out soon.
Oh, okay.
The final season for real this time.
Oh, for real? They've been saying the final season for like 3 years.
For real. No, we mean it this time. Yeah, that's supposed to be coming out later this
I don't trust y'all no more.
And then they're also doing Jujutsu Kaisen, so their hands are full. Plus, you've got people that are animating Jujutsu Kaisen that are like, yeah, Mappa ain't shit. They ain't treating us right. So, yeah. For all we know, they might end up offloading Chainsaw Man to another studio. So.
Oh, no.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, because, like, technically, Mappa didn't always have Attack on Titan. That was Wit Studio. And then that switched over. So, you know, maybe they'll give Chainsaw Man to Wit Studio.
Oh, okay. I saw a Japanese drama that was based on a manga or manga. It's called, okay, thank you. It's called Burn the House Down.
Okay, why does that sound familiar?
I don't know.
What is that, like the Japanese version of Waiting to Exhale?
No, it was interesting. So, it starts off with a girl, like her house is on fire. She looks like she's about 12, and her mom is like in the street, like bowing and begging the dad to forgive her or whatever. And then it flips later to like 20 years later. And 20 years later, you can see that the dad has married the mom's best friend.
Ooh,
yeah.
Messy.
So it was a revenge. It was a revenge plot.
Ooh.
And also like a mystery, like who burned down the house. Like, yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was good. We watched it all. We watched it all.
Interesting. Okay. I'm trying to see if this was ever released in English, and it was back in 2022. Oh, so the series is done. Okay, it was released digitally in America. 8 volumes. Let's see. You got the house burned down and the daddy married the best friend.
Yeah.
And she becomes the maid.
That's how she sneaked back in the house. And
he don't recognize his own daughter?
No, because he hasn't seen her. It wasn't 20 years. It was 13 years. He hadn't seen her in 13 years. He married that new woman and never looked at his biological children again.
Wow. He ain't shit.
He really wasn't shit. And he wasn't shit throughout, like the whole entire time.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. I hope she burns this house down.
I don't want to give you spoilers.
She burns the house down. Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to give you spoilers. But it was good. It was good. Nice little twist. Lots of twists.
Plot twist. She burnt the house down 13 years ago, and she's burning this one down too. You gotta finish the job. She was trying to burn the house down so she could kill her cheating ass daddy, but he escaped. And the mama was apologizing that their daughter tried to kill him. He's like, nah, fuck you. I'm gonna marry your best friend. And the daughter's like, I bet I'm gonna burn you and the best friend.
Also, like, the mom's best friend stole the mom's whole entire style and also stole a couple of her like items or whatever and became an influencer off that shit. Like, a famous influencer. Like, imagine if you were to discover that Martha Stewart stole everything that she does, like, from somebody else.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Like, that.
Stole this woman's whole entire style and married her man. And also has her child working in the house as a maid. Not only can this girl clean, but she also learned how to cook for her mother. And so, like, she had the girl cooking also, and then she would like post pictures of it.
Talking about, look how nice I clean my house.
Yep.
Man, you know what? I might need to watch this just for the revenge angle, like how the Korean drama. What was it called?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck. The Glory.
Yes, The Glory.
The Glory was so good. The plotting in that was so good. So if Burn the House Down's plotting is half as good as The Glory. Because half of The Glories was kind of coincidental and everybody just being assholes. They kind of just brought themselves down.
Yeah.
She literally just had to pop up and be like, I'm not dead. They was like shitting themselves. She didn't do anything. She really didn't do anything. She was just there. She literally just was there. It's like, I just happen to be a teacher at your daughter's school. That is it. That is it. She insinuated she had some information, and she didn't even have actual evidence of nothing, but just the idea sent them spinning. I loved it.
But that's because they knew constantly that they were up to shit. Like, they knew, and they knew not to trust each other.
And she actually married a good guy.
Yeah,
that was her problem too. She ain't marry a scummy dude like her baby daddy.
Right.
She married an actual good man.
Yeah.
Which
who was too good? Who was too good?
I can't. That gets on my nerves when like good people end up with terrible people.
Oh, he was so loyal.
Oh, he was so good. If she wasn't dating the doctor, I wanted her to steal that man. I was rooting for her. Like, ooh, she knows shogi? My wife don't like shogi. This girl good. Oh, I wanted that. Ooh, that would have been so spicy. Anyway, before I start going on a tangent, I'm sure Mike's about ready to kick us out of this room. So,
all right.
We will save this conversation for next week. We'll see how.
Yes, and remember to do your homework and see Bodies, and Burn the House Down.
You sound like a double feature. Well, I have been Ash.
And I have been Fatima.
This has been
Fatash.
Bye.
Goodbye. Mike, turn it off.